Good morning, good afternoon, good day. My name is Jason Weiss, and I am the host of the Ask Jason Weiss show. Although I am an attorney, I am not your attorney today unless you go ahead and hire me. This is for educational and informational and entertainment purposes only. And today I will emphasize that this is going to be for entertainment purposes because what you can't see is what I'm looking at off camera, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people preparing for this show, as well as 3 dogs. So if we hear barking during the show today, I apologize, but it's part of life. So speaking about life, one of the things that I want to talk about today is life as a parent, life as a college student, and life in general. Sorry, I'm getting feedback from the audience telling me that everybody is ready. So look, here's what I'm talking about today. Today I'm talking about that, as everybody knows, I'm a proud dad. I have 2 kids who one is in college, one is a sophomore in high school. And we're going to talk today about how they got prepared for high school, how they got prepared for college, and what they're doing. And today I'm fortunate enough to have my son, Logan, as well as 3 of his friends that are here with us. We have Matt, we have Spencer, and we have Max. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a proper show without Madison. So, gentlemen, come on over. Come. I don't have seats for everybody, but we can try. So we have Matt. We have Matt right here. We have Max right behind me. We have Spencer in the hat, and of course, everybody knows Logan. So Logan, we're going to start with you, and I'm going to step out because no one needs to look at me. Everybody wants to look at this crew, not me. So Logan, I'm stepping out, and you got someone can sit, or I'll move to the end seat. All right. So all of these gentlemen are freshmen or sophomores at at Florida State University, and I almost said the University of Florida, which is my alma mater. And on the back of my shirt, I have here that we're what's called a divided household. We are Gators, we are Canes, and we support Seminoles. So I'm just playing. We're very supportive of Florida athletics. And as much as I did and Tova did as parents to basically move these gentlemen into being ready for college, I'll ask just a quick question, and we're going to start with Logan since he's been on the show. Were you ready for college? A short answer, just yes or no. Do you think you were ready for college?
No.
Okay. Matt?
I would say yes.
Okay. Max?
No.
And Spencer?
100%.
100% yes, you were ready. All right. So my 2 no's were Logan and Max, correct? All right, so we're going to start with Logan. Why did you answer the way that you answered?
I don't think I was ready for all of the freedom because I was used to like a more rigorous schedule where, there was something going on literally every second of the day where I had literally no time to myself to do anything unless it was past like 10:30, 11 p.m.
Okay, so for you, it was you wake up at whatever time you want for a class, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then you go to your class, and then you go to lunch, and then you go to your other class, and then you had free time until lacrosse or a rush activity.
Yeah.
So you were not used to having that freedom in between and not having a helicopter mom or a pain in the ass dad saying, why aren't you studying or why aren't you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair. What about you, Max?
I'd say like relationships, and I also had a very different scene when I first went into college. So I was dating this like girl for like a really long time before I went, and then I actually studied abroad my first year. So I went from seeing a person every day and seeing my family every day and my friends every day to being like across the world, and then also with the 6-hour time difference. So it kind of hits you just like that, and it's like.
So you did a semester abroad and all by yourself, and he is not from Florida. He's from the Northeast. We don't give specific, we don't want anybody looking up your home address or anything. So he's from the Northeast. And then Matt, who's sitting next to Logan, he's also from the Northeast, and he said he was ready to go. What made you ready to go?
Absolutely. I would say just having an older brother with this very similar experience. I mean, he also came to school. He's graduating this year in Florida, and kind of getting an idea, him kind of telling us what happened and how college is for him, almost like got me a little excited to go to college. And I would say, too, just the course load you had in high school, whether, easy or difficult, having it every day, 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. Then you go to college, it's a lot more separated. You have a lot more free time. I would just say that's something that I look forward to. And that also gave me a lot more to get my schoolwork done as well. So something that, it made me excited for college, and I felt like I was prepared.
And last, but certainly not least, the man, all I see is his big smile, because he is Mr. Happiness, and I got Logan smiling too. Spencer, you said you were ready.
Yes.
What do you think you did to prepare yourself to be ready?
Yeah, so pretty similar, Matt. I got lucky. I'm in a huge family of 6. So growing up, I always had a fetch on my own. My parents were never on me about anything. Maybe it was because I was the middle child, but I always was pretty lenient on rules and everything. So I came home when I wanted to. I did whatever. And eventually, when I was a freshman in high school, my parents actually moved away with the rest of my family. It was really just me and my twin at the house and taking care of my grandma. And that happened for about a year. So we kind of got a little bit of our own maturity and our own self-responsibility in that way. And then they came back. And I don't know, it was just pretty easy from there to just take care of yourself and everything. And being in a family of 6, you kind of learn how to grow up on your own and stuff like that. And luckily my parents were pretty lenient on everything. So I felt ready. I had an amazing high school experience. And when I went to college, it just got more emphasized.
Yeah, and I think, as a dad who listens to Logan, speaks to Logan multiple times a day in a week, I think the biggest thing is that structure. When he was at home, it was very structured between Tova, myself, Logan, lacrosse, academics. We knew he was up at a certain time. He hit the gym. He went to classes. He went to practice. He came home. He showered. He ate. He studied. He had a weekend routine where he was up Saturday morning early, would do beach runs, then would go to practice, then would come home, do some chores, not often, but do some chores. And then he would study. He would go out with his friends and all of that. And it changed when he got his driver's license. And for all of you parents like me who, think having a kid with a driver's license and a vehicle is scary, but is also awesome, the awesomeness outweighs the scariness, because, Madison takes herself to practice now. We don't have to chauffeur her around. Yes, we miss time in the car with her. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, that freedom is awesome. And giving that freedom to a young adult like these gentlemen and Madison, I think is important. Look, I was a resident assistant when I went to the University of Florida. My first year there, it was rough. I never went to sleepaway camp, never did any of that stuff, never really traveled much. By the time I had my second year and I was able to see all of the students that came in that led a very structured life, home by 9, sleeping by 10, those were the guys and girls that went nuts in college. They were the ones that when I was a resident assistant, I had to call the hospital to get an ambulance out there to pump a stomach. They were the ones that, would stumble and drunk and fall and trip, as opposed to how Tova and I tried with Logan, giving rules, but also giving freedom within those rules. And what I mean by that is curfew for him when he was 16 and 17, he had to be home by 11 o'clock. That was not mandated by Tova and myself. Thankfully, the state of Florida said any driver who's 17 or younger has to be home by 11. Awesome. Then we extended curfew. Now he doesn't really have a curfew when he comes home from college. He lets us know, hey, if I'm not going to be home by 1, I'm going to let you guys know what time I'll be home. So to me as a parent, giving advice to other parents who are having kids go to college, communication is key. Let your son, daughter, child have a say, right? Communicate. Say that. I leave. Hey, I'm at the grocery store. Does anybody want anything? Hey, I'm at this marketing event. Does anybody want anything? And I ask the same as Logan. Hey, I'm up. I'm on my way to class. Hey, I'm done with the cross practice. The truck is in the garage for the night. Communication is key. So with that being said, we're now going to go in the same order, and I'm going to ask a question of each of these guys. And this is not scripted, and it's going to be the same question. If you had a chance to tell the version of you the day before you stepped on campus, hey, Logan would say, hey, Logan, when you get to campus, remember, or be aware, or plan on this. What's one piece of advice you would give yourself when you started college?
Try to just, fill up your time so you don't feel lazy.
Okay. And don't look at me, look at the camera. So it's all good. Matt, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the upcoming seniors going into college, one thing I would tell myself is don't worry so much about it. Don't stress out over don't worry when you're going into campus. It's all going to be fine. It's going to be great.
Max?
Personally, I wouldn't change much because I think we learn from experiences. But what I would say is try to fill up your time, do as much as possible. I think it's awesome just being around campus, seeing your friends all the time. I've gotten to the point where I honestly hate being back in my apartment because it's just I like being out and doing things, and I think that's the best way to go about life because you learn, you live, and you build these relationships with people, and I think it's great.
So you could go ahead and give up your lease and just crash on everybody's couch.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah. And what about you, Spencer? What do you think?
Pretty similar to these two. Take up every moment of your time, doing something. It's so much easier being told, go chase that, go join this club, go do that. But when you're actually there doing it, in high school, I took advantage of every single thing. I was always out. My parents did not see me. My family didn't see me. And when I went to college, I was okay, I'm going to do the same thing. And it's a lot scarier when you get to college because you're by yourself and you hear all these things. But you actually have to take that risk. Even if you go somewhere, do it by yourself. That's the one thing I didn't do my first year is I didn't show up to this or this because I was by myself. So it was really hard. So that first year was really hard for me. But the second year, I was just I'm going to buy to everything and go for it. So that made a huge difference.
All right. Now, here's another question, and we're going to go in reverse order. We're going to start with Spencer. If you have, you said you're the middle child, so you have younger siblings. What piece of advice would you give a younger sibling who, let's say, is a freshman, sophomore, or junior in high school?
Yeah, exactly. So I have triplets that are exactly that. They're sophomores right now, and I'm telling them to do exactly what I did when I was in high school. It's just join every club, meet as many people, talk to as many people. Even if that's not who you are as a person, try and just interact as much as possible, whether it's a club, whether it's a person, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is. Try and get as involved as you humanly possibly can. So when you come to college, you have all those experiences, like Sarko said. You learn from your mistakes, you learn from things like that happen. So just try and buy that everything, go for everything. So when you come to college, you do the exact same thing.
How about you, Max?
I'm actually the youngest of four, so I actually had people to talk to, luckily. And I think the thing that helped me the most when I got to school was having that bond with my brother and having the ability to call him and talk to him about what was going on. When I was rushing the frat with these guys, I called my brother all the time and told him what was going on, and he helped me out with stuff. And it was honestly just that great relationship that helped me so much. So I would suggest just keeping that relationship and calling him and just having that bond there.
And of course, hopefully you guys don't hear, but the dogs are barking, but who cares? I put that disclaimer out there. Matt, I know you have at least an older brother.
Yeah, so just one older brother. But I think just to agree with Max said as well, just the reassurance side of it, someone to have you there to kind of guide you through the process of starting off. I mean, it does get a little complicated. You're going to have a couple questions, and just kind of having someone that's older, almost like an advisor, just to help you out, an advocate that's been there for this, been the same situation, kind of telling you it's going to be okay. This is what you have to do. I think it's extremely important, and just to have someone like that in your life just makes the college experience so much easier.
And last but not least, Mr. Logan.
Honestly, just be yourself, and don't be afraid of what other people think. You will find your people, and you will be able to find yourself and find your place in life. And everything. I grew up hating this expression, but now I'm starting to accept it. Everything in life happens for a reason. I've been here before on the show, and people know my path and how I came to Florida State and how I met all of these guys. And, at the end of the day, everything does happen for a reason, no matter if the path is hard or if it's easy. And you just need to be able to accept it and be able to face whatever goes in front of you.
And one of the things that I will say Florida State does very well is they have a mentorship program, at least in the business school. I actually have a student that I mentor. This is a student who is, I think, an accounting and business major who wants to potentially go to law school. So we talk about anything from the LSAT to my books to what do I do about this to can you look at my resume. So that's something that the school offers, and this is a huge state school, and it is massive, and to have that one-on-one and to have that attention is really cool. Now, I know, Logan, you went to a smaller high school because I know, and I paid the tuition. So how was the adjustment from a school where, I think your graduating class was what? Under 200 kids?
Yeah, we were 163.
163 kids to a school with how many kids are in your freshman class? 10,000 plus?
12,000.
Okay. How's that adjustment? Do you feel like, oh my God, it's massive and I'm lost? Or is it like, hey, I have my own little silo within a massive university?
I would say it's like kind of a mix of both. I mean, I've always been a very sociable person, be able to talk to pretty much anybody. I mean, these three guys are in my pledge class for our fraternity, and now I have 300 brand new friends that I think I can hang out with about 98% of them on any sort of day.
We won't ask you to name the 2% that you can't.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like going to a bigger school kind of was like a reality check, just because, going to a school where your graduating class is 162 kids, and, all of those kids pretty much already have their lives set up and picked out by the time, they're 14 or 15 to take over, their parents' or family's companies, is a little bit different coming from my household where, not everything is, picked for you and everything is going to be, this way, or, if there's this backup plan in your life. And, I like that. I liked being able to pick my own path in life. I like to be able to meet all these new guys. I mean, I would say I'm probably getting closer with the guys who I go to college with than the guys from home. And, I love being here at Florida State compared to anywhere else in the world.
How about you, Matt? I know your high school wasn't as small as Logan's, but how was the adjustment from just a high school size to, holy cow, 12,000 of my peers and what, 80,000, 70,000 on campus?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for me, honestly, I did expect it to be a lot more, as there are so many kids, I guess you don't really realize that you still see kind of the same group every now and then. Like, it's not as big as university is, you still see that small group of people almost every day or every other day. You keep seeing them throughout campus, throughout different activities you do. And especially too, as a freshman, if you live in a dorm, you kind of keep seeing those faces recycle, with those classes as well. And as Logan is right, it is a balance. I'd meet probably someone new every single day, see someone new every day. It's huge. There's so many different students that are there. You kind of also have that small group. And I think being a part of Greek life also helps that out, as everything's kind of sectioned off into groups and you see your, fraternity brothers every day. But mainly, yeah, I think it would be surprising. I was shocked by the fact that I'm really seeing the same faces over again. It just, I don't know, something I really didn't expect. But yeah, I'd still say a mix of both though.
Max?
Yeah, I'd probably say you go through both. I don't think it's as much now as of the mix. Like when I first got to school, it was really shocking. I didn't know anybody. It's I'm in this whole new world, and you just have to you're pushed out there, and you just have to do whatever. You just have no experience. But then as you go on, it's you join these clubs, you join Greek life, and now it's gotten to the point where I literally see the same faces every day. I think the only thing where I still get that feeling is if I join a club, I get to meet new people, which is awesome. But for me, as much, I feel like it's more just, it doesn't feel much different from high school. It's you still just have your groups, and you see the same guys, and it's awesome.
Now, before I let Spencer chime in, I'm going to say he is the shyest guy I think I've ever met. I'm totally kidding. Very outgoing, very charismatic, life of the party.
Thanks.
But you know, how did you feel with the adjustment? You know,
I mean, again, my first year is really, really hard. In high school, it's just a schedule. It's the same thing you see every single day. Same people, same group, same sport, same everything. So when you come to college, it's a lot different. Again, like these guys said, once you join like the fraternity, you're starting to be around you're starting to be around the same people every single day. But what actually all three of these guys do is they all join different clubs after the frat. They're all like getting involved after the frat. So if you were to stick in the frat, just like stay with the same clique, you know, it kind of like goes back to high school a little bit. But it's really awesome being with these boys because they love to get as involved as they possibly can. So we actually end up meeting a lot of different people. So it is very different from high school, and I love it because I see a ton of different people, a ton of different groups, and it's just awesome. It's awesome. I love it.
so I think the takeaway, and we're going to go into commercial in about a minute. I know we're running over, and I apologize, but we're going to go to commercial in a minute. But the takeaway here is pretty simple, right? Get involved, meet people, try new things, and don't forget you're there to learn, right? Academics in this household comes number one, and everything else comes second. And as long as your academics are good, you need to enjoy college. I have friends whose kids, you know, they don't do anything except study. They don't go out. I don't think that's right. I also have friends whose kids, you know, are sitting there with, you know, a 2.0 GPA and all they do is go out. And I don't think that's right. I think somewhere in the middle is the way to go. You need a balance. You're going to make friends that you're going to keep forever. You never know what kind of business connections you're going to make, and you never know what kind of lifelong connections you're going to make. These guys just all got off a boat from Bimini, so they woke up just for this show. So I'm going to thank Spencer, Max, and Matt for being here. I'm going to keep Logan here a little bit longer because I do have control over him while he's here. And Madison's going to come chat with us a little bit as well. So we're going to go for a quick 20-second break, and we'll be right back. And we want to thank our sponsors. So we are back. I'm Jason Weiss from the Ask Jason Weiss show, and we just had a room full of gentlemen that just got off a ship from Bimini. They had spring break. They loved it. They had a great time. And you know, so now I'm going to have Madison join us, and we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, she actually listened to some of that, and I want to know her opinion as to what she thought. And I also want to talk a little bit about some art projects that she's working on, and as well as, you know, see if, you know, she and Logan have an opportunity to chat. So Maddie, Logan, come on in. And I will sit in the middle because, you know, as the dad of two, I can, you know, elbow them. So Madison, again, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And no comment out of her. Okay. Logan, still, thank you both. So let's see. We're halfway through spring break for Logan. We're halfway through spring break for Madison. I've told everybody that Logan just got back from Bimini with his fraternity brothers. And which fraternity are you in, if you want to give a plug?
Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Which is also known as?
SIGA.
Okay. And we call it a fraternity. We don't call it a frat, and we'll leave it at that. And then we have Madison, who is wearing one of Logan's date function sweatshirts, and she is also halfway through spring break. So Mads, we're going to start with you. The most fun thing you've done on spring break so far, and the most cool thing you've done on spring break so far. So let's start with the most fun.
Okay. The most fun thing I did over break has been going to the Zach Bryan concert. It was the best concert I've been to. It was in Tampa. My mom drove me and my best friend up, and then it was just me and my friend who went to the concert.
So they had a blast. Okay. And the most creative, let's say, the most creative thing that you've done during spring break?
I've been working on some art projects, and one of them, the most creative that I've been working on, is a paper mache Demogorgon, which I decided to do just for fun.
And for those people that do not watch sci-fi thrillers on Netflix, what is a Demogorgon?
It's just like a monster thing.
And what show is it from? Sorry, I didn't ask the right
Yeah.
question. Where's it from?
It's from Stranger Things.
So you want to show us what you've been working on?
Sure.
Okay. So this is a Demogorgon. It is made out of, I don't know. You tell us how you started. So what is this? What is this made from, and how did you make it?
So the base was made from tinfoil, and then I wrapped the tinfoil with tape. And then after that, I did the paper mache, which I took paper towels and a mixture of Elmer's glue and water. I just mixed it together, dipped the paper towels, and then wrapped it around the whole thing. And just did a few layers of that. And then I painted it. And then, yeah.
So Millie Bobby Brown, Stranger Things, Detective Hopper, and all of the others. Check this out. Who plays the Demogorgon in Stranger Things?
There is no one.
There's no one. Got it.
Because there's a bunch of Demogorgons in the show. It's not like one character.
So again, this was made just from watching the show and an idea, and it's tinfoil and then paper mache
And then tape.
and then tape.
Paper mache and then paint.
And then I don't know if the viewers can see it, but all of those white things, what are they?
They're supposed to be the teeth, and I made it out of plaster.
Or spackle.
Spackle, yeah.
Yeah, she took some old spackle that we had and figured it out. And you know, so art is part of your life, school is part of your life, cheer is part of your life, lacrosse is part of your life. So again, this is not scripted, so I'm probably going to get something from both of you for this. But Madison, I'd like you to ask Logan one or two questions about college, not about, you know, do you have a girlfriend or a best friend, but as a high school student who is preparing to go to college, and you listen to some of the questions, do you have a question or two that you'd like to ask Logan?
Sure.
Okay.
Are there any classes you recommend me taking in high school?
So the question is, now that you're looking back at high school and you know your sister's love for art and all of that, what do you recommend?
Or not classes, just do you recommend me doing anything, like any club, or it doesn't have to be a class, just anything?
I mean, so I'll answer both. So it all comes down to what you want to do with your life. Like if you still want to go down the path of being a doctor or, you know, forensic scientist, you have to take a lot of science-based classes just so you can, you know, make sure that's still what you want to do. So you have a rough idea. And so you can see what you're going to be using and dealing with for the next probably for you, like 12 years of your life with medical school, residency, you know, your first couple of years and actually going to college. So, I mean, you're going to have to know that you're going to have to deal with all that stuff. So you have to take like AP Physics, AP Bio, AP Chem, IB Bio, all those kinds of classes. And then, you know, make sure this is what you're able to do. And you're able to not only love it, but actually understand what you're doing and make sure you're comfortable with it. Because if you're not comfortable with it, then you shouldn't put yourself through the stress. And you should figure out something else with your life. And clubs, I mean,
well, she already does cheer. She already plays lacrosse. She is in English Honor Society and Latin Honor Society. So I guess the question becomes, you know, where is your passion? Where is your love? If it's for the art, then you should do things with art. If it's with cheer, you should, you know, come up with more with cheer. I think that question I can answer. You got to follow your passion, follow your love. And do things that you enjoy because they are electives or after or things that you don't have to do. So try it, right? That's what it is. Take a public speaking class.
I've already done that.
Yeah, I'm teasing because, unlike this one who I can, bless you, drop in a room and he's going to come out with 10 friends. That's why we have all these nice guys staying with us. Madison is a little bit quieter. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. What's another question you got for Logan? You have any brotherly?
I can think of them.
Go ahead.
How did you make so many friends?
I really don't care what other people think. Like, I mean, you just have to know
Did you
are.
know them at parties or what?
No, I met all of them through Rush.
No, I met him all at the library where he was studying. Mom's listening over there. Every friend he made was at the library. Mom, he spends all his time in the library. Okay, now, Mom, go away. All right.
I met all of them through Rush. Like, I mean, they all touched on it when they were back here for the first half. But, like, honestly, Greek life is one of the best things you could do, especially at a school like FSU, where Greek life is so important to the culture, like the social culture, that's how you meet like all your friends. That's how you get involved in stuff. That's how you get your jobs in nightlife. You get your jobs outside of college. That's my biggest reason why I rushed was him. And he has some of his best friends that were at his wedding, that were there when I was born, that had all this stuff. And, at the end of the day, that's what I wanted. I wanted someone that, 30, 40 years from now, I'm still going to want to hang out with. And I'm going to want my kids to hang out with their kids.
And you call them Uncle Duty and Uncle Chef and all these other guys and my first friend in college, Jason Sane. So shout out to you, who's also the founding father of ZBT with me. So shout out to Jason Sane. And those are the things, right? You always thought that your high school friends were going to be your lifelong friends, and I'm sure you will have high school friends for the rest of your life, but now you open up a whole new chapter.
Yeah.
A whole new group of friends, a whole new group of guys, a whole new group of girls, a whole new group.
Yeah.
So for any upcoming artists and upcoming people that want to do stuff, any advice to give them about, going with your creativity or where you find inspiration?
Just if you feel like trying something, like if you want to do something or if you come up with an idea, just do it. Just try. Worst case, it doesn't work out and you just try something else. But it doesn't hurt to just try doing something. Like I just did this for fun. I didn't have an actual reason, and I'm really liking it so far. So. And
one thing I wish that you did, and maybe you did, and I don't know it, is documented.
I did.
Okay, so then that's one of the things. So talk about that, right? You created this Demigorgon.
Mm-hmm.
It is awesome. I know it's not done, but it is awesome, and I'm so proud of it, and I can't wait to go get a frame and post it on Instagram and do all that stuff. But I'm sure there was an art project or something that you tried and it didn't work out the way you want. So you don't post it on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Who cares, right? You did it, you enjoyed it, you learned, and then all that. So talk about, the process with this, and I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even know till we were on the show. Are you glad you documented the journey on that?
Yeah, I usually do document the journey on all of my art projects. Like whenever I'm done for the day, I take a picture because I just want to. I like having pictures of things and like seeing seeing the journey of it, I guess.
Okay. So, and I put on the post that I put on LinkedIn when I was talking about this show that we might have the honor of a cameo in this show, and we're going to bring Mom in because I want to ask Mom a question going back to the whole college situation. So Mom is going to come in and Mom is going to sit, and she's giving me the evil eye because She's like, oh, you didn't tell me you were coming. Well, if you read your LinkedIn
Don't
post,
hide behind
you
me.
would know. So
I have on
here,
my makeup.
it's fine. It's
My hair's not
okay.
brushed.
It's fine. So, and I'm going to stand because my legs need to be stretched. I was actually speaking with a friend yesterday who has kids that are in high school. And he said to me, how did we prepare for Logan going to college? And I said that we prepared, but we were not prepared. And what I mean by that is I kept telling all my friends he's going to go to college and I'm going to be prepared and I'm going to be good to go and I'm going to speak to him every day. And that all holds true, right? I speak to him every day, multiple times, because that's what we like. He might not want to talk to me 4 times a day. He might only want 1, but that's okay. And we come up with what works. But no matter what, we were not prepared. And, you know, to all of you parents that have kids that are leaving in 2026, some advice, you know, support your kids, be there for them, love them, squeeze them. I think we got very lucky by having Logan where he is a car ride away. Okay. Yeah. That is a guest in our household. That is Lucy making her
Hi,
first
Lucy.
time television appearance ever. So Tova, to parents that are out there that are listening and they're like, I'm getting ready and it's March and my kid's leaving for the summer or my kid's leaving in August. Any piece of advice?
It will suck.
Okay. What does that mean?
It just, I don't know. You need to get used to, like the void. And it stinks and it puts a lot of pressure on who's left at home because they need to fill that, you know, missing piece as well as, you know, be their own piece of the puzzle.
And don't run out and get a dog or 2 dogs,
Right.
Because I don't think that helps solve it. I mean,
No.
look, all kidding aside, we do have Penny, and we're fostering Lucy for a little while, not much longer, but it's been
Like another week or 2.
it's been a distraction, but I don't know if it was necessary. But look, I mean, we've had her for a year, and so be it. You know, she's part of the family, and that's the way we roll. We're very inclusive. We invite, you know, guys from Bimini and Florida State and everywhere else to come join us. And you know, that's how we roll. So you'll never be ready.
No,
But
and don't let them know how upset you are. It doesn't help them.
no, it does not, because then they feel bad and they want to come home, and
Right.
you want them to come home because they want to come home.
Not because they feel like they need to come and make you feel better.
Right. So Madison, as a child who is still at home,
Mhm.
you know, what's been your biggest adjustment other than, you know, mom and dad focusing all of their attention, love, anger, criticism, positive reinforcement, all of everything, you being now the focus.
And don't say that it's that you have to decide dinner every night.
Because that's only a reward and a punishment. Oh, Madison, you got an A on a test. You have to pick dinner. Oh, Madison, you
You
left-
went to school. You get to pick dinner.
right? Or you didn't you didn't turn off the light in the garage. You're punished. Pick dinner. What else you got?
You said it, that having all the attention on me and all the anger and all the, like, it's just a lot. Because you go from having someone else there your whole life. Like, he's lived without me. I haven't lived without him.
Mhm.
And it's just all of a sudden, everything's put on you. And it's just a lot. Especially because, like, I don't like having all the attention. I just like being there. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah. Madison is not an attention seeker unless she is performing a cheer or on the field or something
Has an-
along those lines. So, and we got Peanut Gallery out there. They're yelling and barking and doing all that. So I think we're close to time. So real quick, the hardest question for all of us. And Tova, you won't have to answer because I can. No, you know what? I'm going to make you answer for us. So I'm going to start with Logan. It's the same question for all three of you. What are you currently watching on a streaming service, and do you recommend it?
Invincible season 4, and yes.
Okay. Madison?
Invincible season 4, yes. I'm also watching Dexter.
And do you recommend it?
Yeah, that's good.
And
But
Tova?
Are we even watching anything?
We
You guys
are.
have like 5 shows.
Well, the problem is we're trying to stream them all. So we started the new season of Alex Cross. We started the new season of
We started watching the new season of Hijack, and it's
I just watched House of Guinness while they were away at the concert. Decent for a background. Can't rant and rave about it. But look, Netflix, Prime, Paramount, Peacock, all of the above. Keep putting out great content. We love it.
we did just watch Nuremberg, and that was really good.
Nuremberg was awesome.
On
So
Netflix.
again,
It
was a movie. Yeah. So again, to all the listeners, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share my family with you. Thank you for allowing Logan to tell you about Florida State and college. Madison telling you about her art, and I still can't believe this phenomenal Demigorgon, because that thing is freaking cool. Tova, thank you for being here on the Spot Show. To Sigep, thank you for allowing some of the boys to be here. To Bimini, thank you for sending them home. And to Madison, just thank you for being wonderful. I love you. That's the attention you need. To all the listeners, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful one. We'll see you in 2 weeks, where I think we're possibly going to have Tova back with Uncle Michael Chef, and we might be doing some cooking for Passover/Easter. Thank you all. Have a wonderful one, and thank you for the streaming network and Going Bold. Take care.